Hey guys, it's Pastor Bruce. We're going to finish up the second missionary journey and begin the third today, while we also meet some people who were instrumental in helping the Apostle Paul spread the gospel of Jesus Christ in Asia and in Europe. A good part of Acts 18 takes place in the Greek city of Corinth, where Paul spent about 18 months ministering. While he was there, he met a couple named Aquila and Priscilla. They were Jewish believers who had recently transplanted from the Roman province of Pontus on the Black Sea. They were tent makers, as Paul was, and so they were ministering together and also working together. They would spend each Sabbath in the synagogue preaching Jesus. And when Timothy and Silas arrived, we think bringing a collection from Macedonia, Paul had the resources to do more evangelism. He seems to have really stepped up his game, and that angered the Jewish people in Corinth. They brought him up on charges to the Roman proconsul Gallio. What's interesting about Gallio is we know from extra-biblical historical sources a good deal about him, and we can pinpoint these events sometime in the early 50s AD. Gallio, unlike Pontius Pilate before him, didn't get caught up in the Jewish intrigue and ended up throwing everyone out of court. The synagogue leader ended up getting beaten by the mob. I'm sure that he was thinking that was going to happen to Paul, but turnaround is fair play, isn't it? Eventually, Paul and his group left, and they stopped off in Ephesus, where Paul left Aquila and Priscilla, and then he continued on to Antioch. After a while there, he headed out again, and he spent time in the churches in Asia, strengthening and encouraging them. Meanwhile, back in Ephesus, a man arrived named Apollos. He was a great orator. He was a brilliant man, but he didn't quite understand everything about Jesus. We don't quite get what the deficiency was, but we know that he was still teaching the baptism of John. And so Aquila and Priscilla take him aside and fill in the blanks, and they correct him. And this is a great lesson. It's never really good to correct somebody publicly. It demeans them, it brings them down. Instead, we should take them aside and we should correct them in a way that they can save face and we can teach them completely. Let me tell you, it worked for Apollos. He asked and was allowed to cross over to Corinth, and he became a lion for the gospel, contending for the faith there amongst those in Corinth. By the way, many believe that Apollos was the author of the book of Hebrews. Not too shabby. God bless you as you go.